Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are we all doing? Mr. Landfill, good to see you. I have to apologize in advance that I wasn't here yesterday. That was the plan. It unfortunately had a classic case of life getting in the way. And then things have not gone quite to plan in the last couple of days, but that's how it goes. But we're back. We're going to have some fun doing some fossil prep, and that is the key. So we're going to do something a bit different. I have not yet finished the double, triple DAC thing. That is still at the 7 level as we left it last week, unfortunately. It is still there. I will get to it at some point, but I have not managed to. Had a fun fossil tour on Sunday, but took a big fall on the coast and thought I'd broken my foot, so I've just been in hospital this morning getting an x-ray. All is fine as far as the bone. They think it's soft tissue damage, but yeah, it's just meant that I've had a little less time than I would have liked to do some of these things. And I'm also busy trying to sort out getting a fossil fish prep that I found on the coast. And I might be wrong about it, but it might be one of the best fossil fish ever found in Yorkshire. So we'll see. So I'm excited for that. But I'm just anxious dealing with it, just sitting in my house, waiting for prep rather than being prepped and stabilized and all the rest. So, anyhow, apologies, we've got a lot of light coming in over the top of this. I will try and limit this in a second, but I'm enjoying having some air coming into the shed at the minute because we have gone from being cold and miserable in the UK to quite toasty actually. We're now up at like 30 degrees Celsius, which I know for a lot of people who are used to 100 Fahrenheit or like 35, 40, it's not that hot, but for those of us in England who do not see these temperatures regularly or have June temperatures that are regularly about 15 degrees, it's quite a big change. And so it is a bit warm, and we do not have air conditioning or anything of the like. So yeah, but today, what are we going to do? I'm gonna do something that I said that we might do anyway. And this block has been looking at me and teasing me for a long time. It's a classic Gramoceros block, or at least I say a classic Gramoceros block because I believe that's what 1, 2, 3. There's a ridge here that suggests there might be something else sneaking underneath it. There's one here. There's bits of them visible on this end. There's another one there. There's one there. So it's a classic Gramoceros block in that they come in their dozens when you find them, and usually when you get one big one, they're all close together, and that seems to be the case with this one. So we're going to take it slow, just have a bit of fun prepping, see how long we can get on with it. No guarantees we'll get very far, but today, Thursday afternoon, and hopefully Friday afternoon, we will spend some time working through this one and see how we get on. And worst comes to worst, we'll keep going again on next week. So I hope everyone is okay with those plans, and yeah, I'm gonna chuck you all on mute, but if you have any questions or comments or things you'd like to know about, chuck them in chat. I read it intermittently as I prep, so yeah, let me know, and we'll crack on. Hey Shirley, yeah, I've hurt my foot. It's not serious, thankfully. I had concerns when I did it that I'd broken it. You know, the joys of the British summer is that you get lovely flat seas and calm waters and sunshine, and it's beautiful beach weather for the vast majority of people. The downside is for most people fossil hunt, they're the worst conditions because the seas are flat, calm. Lots of fossils tend to not get washed around, and the seashore, or the front, becomes basically algae covered, and what I've done is stepped on one of those snot covered rocks, not paying enough attention, and just completely wiped out. I am fine. A few bumps, bruises, grazes, and this, as I said, this questionable bit about my knee, about my foot. But it has been x-rayed, there's no breaks, so that's good. So it's just taking it a little easy for this week, and I'm still planning to go out next week if possible, so we'll see how we get on. But yeah, it's just a reminder, if you are out on the coast, just because it's summer doesn't mean it's any easier to walk around on. In fact, I think it's a lot harder to hunt in the summer on the beaches because they're just so treacherous underfoot, and so unless you've got boot spikes, they become like little ice rinks. Yeah, anyway, we'll get prepping. Hey Katie, hope you're having some fun prepping today as well. Surely you'll have to let us know how your fossil hunting trip went as well. And yeah, as I said, we'll keep an eye out as I'm prepping this, what's here. I'm assuming these are all going to be grammos. There's a non-zero chance that some of these might be bivalves. There's also a non-zero chance that they might be something much rarer amongst them. There might be some litas, there might be some pseudos. With the grammos, they may not even be grammos, they may be Horgias. That would be ridiculous, but yeah, we'll just have to see it as we go. And yeah. Oh, hey Jason, glad to hear your leave is approved. Forecast is a bit questionable for the adventures, but yeah, we'll have to see, and everyone who might be reading along is going to be intrigued what nautical adventures we're getting up to, but yeah, something for you all to find out soon. You do not have to wait too long. Yeah, so Shirley's seen that there's been a fire at Port Mulgrave, and I can confirm there was. I mean, Katie actually is the one who sent me the link to show it off. It happened on Sunday, and I'd been down earlier that day. Quite a few people were down amongst the huts, and there were some having barbecues despite the giant signs as you head down to Port Mulgrave saying, "Don't start fires." That typically is then what people have done. They've been having barbecues and burning debris and all the rest just to save them having to haul it back up to the top rather than, being sensible. They've had some fires, and yeah, one has gone astray, shall we say, and it looked like 2 or 3 crews from the Whitby area more broadly got down there, got some pumps and pumped some salt water all over it, but it sounds like some of the huts closest to the fire may have taken damage and or been destroyed. It is a great place to go. It's where I took my tour on Sunday. Obviously, always welcome to come back out, Shirley. I'd say the flip side is, though, I did have to apologize to my guests. We didn't find an awful lot of ammonites, and the one really nice thing we did find was this fossil fish that I'm going to keep talking about. I will show it off more down the line. I'm hoping to give it to a prep guy on Tuesday next week to get it sorted, just because it's giving me anxiety having something that might be one of the best fish ever found from Yorkshire sitting just in a tub of water at my house. So I'm trying to I'm not going to say get rid of it, but get it off prepped and stabilized and sorted as soon as possible. But yeah, it's usually a great place to find ammonites. It is a bit heavily picked at the minute, though, because a lot of people have had the same idea and all gone down there. But as I've shown, you can still find stuff. You just gotta have a good eye for it, or get lucky, or both. So. It is roasting today. Cool. I've actually changed my tip. I don't know if you can see. So I've got a unmaned 2mm tip that I tend to use for prepping, and I've got this one which I broke the tip off of and have then had to refile it down, and it's a bit of a blunt, sharp one, not quite chisel-like, but it definitely goes through matrix better. The downside is it's a bit rougher around the ammonite, so it's trying to find that right balance, because this matrix, because of all of the shells in it, can be a bit dangerous to tips, and you get a choice. You can go chisel tip, which is great. You then tend to damage ammonites even more. You can go for the pointy tips, but then you have to be careful not to chip them off when you hit any of the other shells or things that might just make it deviate in the matrix. So it's yeah, trying to use this one, see how it goes. It's definitely not as good when I've been trying to do this ammonite. This definitely a gramo. So it's just how it goes. This one is really intriguing me though, just because of the ribbing is just unusual. But I did wonder if it might be a bivalve. But it would also be a bit of an odd one with that. Yeah, either way, we'll see. But yeah, it's just going to be a lot of matrix to go down, because we've got all of this to go through. And yeah, I'd say there's a number of ammonites that just have bits sticking out all the way around. So we could be here for a couple of weeks whilst we work through this. And I would live and hope that one might be one ammonite, which would be really cool, but we'll have to see. This one I don't know, so we might end up doing a little bit on one side, flip to the other side, and bounce back and forth, and so just try and figure out what's going on, because there's a lot going on. And some of these ammonites like this may just get sacrificed even though we know it's there, but it's quite worn. We'll prep around it to start with and see what we can do, but some of them may be sacrificed just because there are better, or they're going to be better ammonites, I hope, within it. Yeah, so this is gearing up to be a really unpleasant prep. The matrix is surprisingly soft, but also quite adhered to the ammonites, so you go through it very quickly and then very easily ping the next bit, which you don't necessarily want to do. So this could be quite a challenge. It is very tempting to hit it with a hammer. I do like hitting them with a hammer, and there's actually, annoyingly, a little tiny break just running across this line here that I saw earlier, and it's just tempting. But I'm going to avoid doing it. But God, it would be nice just to be done in one go. But yeah, it's really tough going this prep already. Just the nature of it. Yeah, it's as I said, it's really soft. You can, yeah, with my fingernail, can scratch the matrix, which I think is actually the matrix level, like the hardness that you can actually abrade, which is ridiculous. You shouldn't be able to abrade gramo level stuff, so it's a bit unusual, but it means the prep is a bit tricky, as I said. As for things, yeah, so Shirley, I'm glad you got through the heat wave. It's definitely not ideal for dogs, but then my dog is sat outside in the sunshine being a silly sausage, just sunbathing in the heat of the day. But yeah, 2 exciting stories coming up. Fossil fishing adventure. Yeah, so the nautical adventures will be the big one. Just because I didn't film the finding of the fossil fish. The fossil fish was on a tour. My priority is always my guests, so there's no footage of finding it. There is only footage or a picture of it so far, and a short video of it being filled or put into a bucket filled with water. I say bucket as well, a bit loosely. It's a large tub full of water. So yeah, that's currently where it is sat. I do need to have a think about how the heck I'm going to move it around, but we'll get it. And dramatic thumbnails, yeah, I get why people do them because it's what generates clicks. I really dislike using AI for things that you shouldn't need AI for, and one of them should be cool fossils. You don't need to AI your cool fossils, but I appreciate it does generate thumbnails that people click on, and it is kind of a challenge, and something that I've been talking about with a couple of the other creators is what they do, because I obviously have got a very good audience that you guys are always here and supportive of what I'm doing, and I do appreciate it. But my 1,200 subs is not exactly growing at a rapid rate, and that does have limitations for what I can do and how much I can generate, both in terms of sort of pseudo advertising for the tours and the shop, as well as any long-term income from the YouTube channel, which I'm not expecting to ever generate a lot of money, but cannot generate very much at all if I've only got 1,200, even 1,200 regular, very enthused subscribers. So it's trying to figure out the right balance. Yeah, I mean, and this is the problem. The Devivore, I know a lot of people who just hate them, and it's fair enough if you do. The problem is there's a challenge, because obviously my core audience have certain things that all like paleo, that like me as a creator I am, but the problem is, as I said, 1,200 enthused people versus say 1 million, it makes a big difference, and it's trying to find the right balance, and I think that is always the challenge, is finding the right balance. There is definitely a large credibility side of things. It's why I like leaving my fossils as they are. I don't like reconstructing them. I have no issues with people who reconstruct them as long as they're clear about things being reconstructed, but I personally don't do it and think fossils should be left as they are. So it's trying to figure out how best to do things that works, both in terms of who I am and what the channel has been built upon, but also how to best grow the channel. And there's not an easy answer. That's kind of why I've been talking to a bunch of people, is trying to find the right balance and see what everyone else does, and see if there's a way that I can find something that they do that I can then make work for me as well, without damaging both the content, the quality, and what I do. So yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, so the nautical adventures, there will definitely be lots of filming on that. I suspect there will be, well, I say I suspect, I'm planning to take out a GoPro, so you'll get nautical footage. We'll have my normal footage as well, so hopefully it'll be extra long and a bit interesting. And then yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. And then I'm not honestly trying to get to 1 million. That was a bit of a throwaway. I would like more subscribers just because it would help generate business. And being a new business owner, what I'm trying to do is turn my business into something I can do long term. And at the minute, I do not generate enough funds to do what I'm doing long term. And so my ideal world would be to get more subscribers, even if it's just as Shirley's demonstrating by their enthusiasm that come out on a tour with me, and are here enthusiastic and want to come on another tour. And this is I'm very thankful to people like Shirley, because that's what I want. I want lots more of the Shirleys of the world. And the challenge is, if there's only say 10 of you in this chat, and I appreciate all 10 of you being here, but 10 of you don't make enough business in a year for me to keep doing it. So it's trying to find the right balance of doing everything at the right pace and keeping true to myself and what I do and what I believe in when it comes to fossils. So yeah, it is an ongoing challenge, and it's also why all of my videos don't have particularly snazzy or catchy or clickbaity titles. And again, that's probably to my detriment when it comes to the mass audience, but it's kind of not who I am. I kind of dislike them myself. It's like, have you seen this massive rockfall? Look what I found! When that rockfall's been down for a year, the bit I found nothing to do with the rockfall. Yeah, I don't begrudge people doing it because it's what generates them both clicks and their money. But I find it difficult to do personally. But there may have to be some consideration to what is going to make money. And yeah, so any suggestions, I always am open to ideas. And so yeah. Oh, we are going to be in a bit of a pickle. My camera has just warned me that it's overheated, so I'm unable to record. So we may not last long on stream. It is warm. Yeah, I say he may not. I don't know how much you can see. I am glistening. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. But yeah, this block is intriguing me because yeah, it's surprisingly soft, and yet the ammonites themselves are all right. So yeah, let's see what I can get on with. Well, I'd say we seem to still streaming it so far. I'd say we'll go as long as we can. I'd say the camera just says it's not recording, but it still seems to be streaming. So we'll do what we can and whilst we can. Yeah, and I'd say I know the market rates in the UK are much less, and I'm still charging an awful lot less than comparable tours. But again, I'm starting out. I need to generate that business, and a lot of. I probably could get a fan. The problem is I don't even have a fan in my shed. It's unusual to be this hot is the issue, and I've got, let's say, the air coming through. So we'll see what I can do. Might go quickly run and get a fan. Yeah. But yeah, I know tour rates are much lower here than they are in other places, but there's a finite grouping of people and demand, and so it's trying to compete with everyone else and generate, again, a name for yourself, because most of the market seems to be word of mouth generated. And so how do you get word of mouth? Do you get more people? How do you get more people? It's cheaper. And Katie, yeah, so Tappet is probably coming. It is very tempting, I have to say. Dremel blocks we hit for a reason, because they're a pain in the ass, and it is tempting me, but I'm not going to tap it just yet. We'll see how we can do. Give me a second to go get a fan, see if I can cool off at least the shed a touch. I'll be right back. Oh, there we go. So we got a fan. You will probably hear it, and I do apologize. That's just going to be the nature of it. It's hot. It's sticky. And yeah, unfortunately, we're then still only blowing 28-degree air around, so it's only going to do so much cooling. But we'll try and keep everything a little cooler this way. Hi Farcon, hope you're having a good day. Prep is going slowly. We're playing with a Gramo block, and it's increasingly tempting me to smack it with a hammer because I'm hot. That's probably the wrong attitude to have, but yeah, a shed with constant air extraction plus a intermittent hoover, not a hoover, compressor, plus computer, plus direct 30-degree sunlight. Ooh, it's toasty. And yeah, then the matrix is surprisingly soft, like scratchable with your fingers soft or fingernail soft, as I just can demonstrate. Yeah, so yeah, it's interesting, and yeah, it's causing me pause when it comes to am I going to make a mess of this, because there's plenty of bits I can see where shells and ammonites may have been that I just have not even had any indication of and gone straight through with pens. So just having a consideration. It is the joy of the stuff from Raven's cars. You never know, and they're always typically overdone. Yeah, so I don't even envy you with the Dremel. I mean, the Dremels get hot enough when it's cold outside, let alone when it's hot. So yeah, at least the compressed air coming out is cool, and at least the air being pulled through by the extraction helps cool things, but it's just hot. So yeah, we'll see if we can get a little longer. But yeah, I appreciate you probably got an extra bit of fan noise going on right now in the microphone, but that is the nature of, at the minute, trying to avoid my camera melting itself. Yeah, so things will do. The unboxing video will definitely happen. I'm not going to hold on to something that exciting. So you will all see if and when that gets prepped, because I think it's, as I said, I think it's got great potential to be one of the best fish ever out of Yorkshire, if I'm lucky. But we'll have to see. Hey, Mr. Tranquil Vortex. I'm glad you enjoy the work. At the minute, we're having a bit of a decision with this block, because this block I think I'm going to do more damage than good to it, and that scares me. And so I may have to stop, even though it's really tempting. This block has been looking at me for a long time just because of the number of ammonites in it. But it's very soft matrix, and the ammonites don't have a lot of separation from the matrix, and so I'm concerned I'm going to do a lot more damage than good to it, at least at the minute. It is tempting to hit it too, which I know at least one member of my audience is already shouting for, Katie. But yeah, I mean, funnily enough, as well, going back to the thing that Shirley's asked about, is the unboxing videos. They don't do particularly well as far as views, at least relative to others, and they take a lot longer to create. It's a bit of an odd quirk of how everything goes on at the minute. So I'm actually going to put a pause on this Dremel block because it's bugging me. But yeah, the unboxing videos or the before afters, they take quite a long time to create, and they don't get even the number of views of some of the fossil hunts, which seems crazy to me. But yeah, everyone would just rather watch fossil hunt. And again, this is back to the thing that we were discussing a bit earlier about how do you get the masses? The masses seem to want to watch the fossil hunts, not the before after videos or the preps or the science videos. There's a niche audience for those, but unfortunately that's a couple dozen or a couple hundred at most, and it's trying to find the right balance. So yeah, it is always an interesting one, and I don't have a good answer for the best way to do a lot of these things. But yeah, putting that Dremel block aside for a second, you'll hear my voice get a bit funny as I try and walk past a fan and figure out what I'm going to have a look at otherwise, because I would like to do something else today. But there's a lot of rubbish bits, and there's a lot of Dremel bits, but I think they're all going to be really difficult. We've done a lot of DAX, but maybe we'll do something a bit different. Or maybe we just go back to the old-fashioned thing and do a Hildy, because everybody loves a Hildy. Right, Ravenscar Hildy. I would love to take credit for this being an exciting thing. I've just gone into a box, had a rummage, pulled out a Hildy. It's got some really nice grooves going around. It's broken, so this section I believe was worn away, and there's a section here that I believe should connect out and around, but we'll have to see. There are some shells on it, which I'll actually prep that side and try and leave those in place, because I like my fossils with their shells. If you think I have great taste in music as well, Tranquil Vortex, I appreciate it, but what I have done is gone onto YouTube's free to stream or free to use music, gone through like their chilled out list, and grabbed all of those. And then normally my first stream of the week I stick on the classical ones, which actually I meant to do today and completely forgot about it because it's my first stream this week. So yeah, but I can't say I spend very long thinking about my music. It must be said, and I also have no idea how much sarcasm is in it, because I know Katie, for one, would laugh immensely at anyone saying that I have great taste in music. Yeah, we'll see. But anyway, yeah, let's have a play with a Hildy, because everyone loves a Hildy. At least that's what I keep telling myself. And they're a lot easier to prep. So let's go with this. we've also got what I said would be a really easy one to do has become a proper mess. So that broken section here has broken segments all the way around, which again presumably are linked to when it's come off of what I believe to be either this side or the bigger part on this side. So there's broken bits of shell all the way through this. What might be fun though is it might go do a big pop for us because there's a nice natural crack that already runs along here. So that might all come off in one fell swoop. And I was just looking to see if I could make that crack go, but I think it might be a bit of a challenge. So you can actually follow where the shell is, that it's where you'd expect it to pop, but it may not pop cleanly because there's another bit of shell here from this broken section. So you may not get that beautiful video 100%. Woo! Everything explodes and magic ammonite straight at the end of it, but we'll see. We'll see what we can make it do. So, there we go. He said he might be able to do it. He did it. It's not kind of ideal because the shells that I said would try and keep in place, one of them's come free, but it's popped. I have not seen what it looks like yet. Here we go. Grand reveal. There you go. Scrappy. Interesting with, I say, the what they call xenomorphic oyster as well. So yeah, so these oysters that basically grow over the top of the ammonites and sort of absorb their shape, very much like the alien monsters in Alien, called xenomorphs. And so yeah, it's a lovely xenomorphic oyster growing on top of it. Yeah, so sometimes they pop, sometimes they go all the way down to middle. This one was possibly inevitable that it wasn't going to go quite as cleanly as I might have hoped, just with the breaks in it, but it's lost its shell and a little bit of the ammonite inner bit there. Yeah, that's not too shabby. Trying to decide what to do on this little corner here. Might just see if we can tidy this a little bit up. There you go. It's why Hildies are great fun, is they usually pop quite cleanly, and they are good fun, and they look great. But yeah, let's just see if we tidy this little edge up, and then yeah, see if we can find something else to play with. Another Hildy maybe, just because they make me look really good at prepping when very clearly I'm not great at prepping. Yeah, sorry, I should have shown you. I'm not going to do an awful lot more. I'll get the small pen out to do that and try and do the center at some point. This has become a bit unfortunate with the trademark. When I'm doing the high magnification stuff, we drift off the bottom. It's not great viewing for you lot. So I will get around to doing it and finishing it at some point, but it's not going to get much different to what you're seeing. Let's say this matrix will hopefully get tidied off. This matrix in the middle might go, and this little bit right here. But that's all that's really left to do. It's not going to win any prizes as the best Hildy ever. It's an interesting one because it's a xenomorph. But it's a bit of a scrappy looking Hildy just because of parts that are broken off and come off with the pop and all the rest. So yeah, it is what it is. So we're not going to belabor it on stream. We'll go see if we can quickly find something else and keep going whilst we've got a camera that still functions in this heat. I heard you guys like Hildies. Have another Hildy. Yeah, so I love Hildies. I pick them up surprisingly frequently at some places. Ravenscar is probably the easiest place to pick up Hildies, or at least was. A bit more tricky now that it's being regularly hunted, or at least was regularly hunted across the winter. But yeah, they're all sort of this size. You do get some bigger ones, but in general they're this sort of size. Give you a demonstration. They're very similar. That's sort of par for the course for Ravenscar. But again, we'll have another quick play of this, see if it will go fairly quickly. They often do. As I said, as you saw, they can pop. Yeah, I was going to say, it's amazing the diversity of finds people talk about when they pop in here to chat, and I quite love that. So we get people talking about their finds from the Netherlands and Germany and various parts of the UK. I'm glad that my prep encourages people to go prep themselves. I'm sure there are many, many better preppers than I am who are popping in and out of stream. I have no idea what Katie's trying to say other than she picks stuff. Inevitably me not speaking clearly, I'm sure. Yeah, so if we want to really get fancy about it, Hildosaurus, named after Saint Hilda, who was one of the abbesses, as opposed to an abbot, but the abbess of Whitby Abbey at one point. Or at least her claim to fame is that they cast all the snakes from the cliff tops and into the sea, and that's what turned into ammonites. So that is the background of St. Hilda, a little bit like yeah, Katie can definitely tell you that I find the Hildy. She's unfortunately the one who always gets the call of, "Hey Katie, come look at this," and there's another big Hildy. So I do apologize to her for that. But then she gets fed quite a few of the Hildies anyway, so don't feel too bad. But yeah, so yeah, St. Hilda, a bit like St. Patrick for Ireland, who got rid of all their snakes. St. Hilda gets rid of all of the snakes from the Whitby Abbey. Safety glasses, definitely recommended. You can pick them up in any of your local hardware stores. Can't speak for what they're like in terms of price from Australia, but I can't imagine you're going to struggle to find them for much more than a $5 or maybe $10. I forget what the exact pricing ratio is to the UK, but they're not going to be that expensive to get at least a suitable pair. And also, depending on the dust, you should get a dust mask as well, like an actual decent one, and not just one that you would have used in COVID, trying to get an actual proper dust mask. Because you don't want to be inhaling your particulates from your prep. In Yorkshire, we've got a lot of pyrite, so when it breaks down, the iron sulfide, whichever combination it is, it turns into sulfuric acid, and so obviously not great for the lungs, but also some places you get silica rich rocks, so ones that have got that high sandy quartzy content, and you can get silicosis and all the rest. So just be careful if you're doing prep. It's why I've got a special ventilation. I prep inside a box, and when I'm doing the stuff that produces a high quantity of small dust, we put the mask on as well. And yeah, as you say, nobody needs silicosis, so yeah, it's just be safe, just be sensible. It's not particularly difficult to do it sensibly and safely, and not particularly expensive either, so it's worth doing to save yourself long term.
Dangerous times, don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world, but keep the sky in your mind.
So what have I missed? Petoskey stones. Yeah, I say it's amazing how everyone gets into fossils in their own ways. So my parents will always tell stories of how I always loved fossils and rocks growing up, and I had a fossil collection, I had a mineral collection. I collected a lot of things, to be honest, but those were the two big ones. And even when my dad was running one of the marathons, I was busy picking up quartz off the side of the road instead of cheering on my father. It's just what people fall in love with at certain times. I always reckon that dinosaurs are one of the easiest ways to get kids into science. Keeping them into it is a bit of a different issue, but gets a lot of people into it. And if you are interested in lots of geology and rock stuff in general, there are an abundance of really good books and resources available. We'll take a little bit of Googling. There's a gorgeous book called Strata. It's huge. It's not general for the general public sort of reading, but it's beautiful. It talks about the origins of the first geological map. I want to say William Smith, but I might have the wrong name, but I think that's who it is. Who was a sort of an engineer, or at least a worker with the canals in England, and when they were building all of the canals, he was recognizing that there were recurring common fossils across the bits that they were digging through, the layers that they were digging through, and using things like the fossils, he was able to then link up sections of rock that are all the same type and built the first geological maps of the UK that way. But there are loads and loads of different versions and books around. There's some fairly, if depending on what your interests are, there's an awful lot have come out recently. A gentleman by the name of Steve Rusati has written a really good set of books about dinosaurs, birds, mammals, and their evolution. One of my friends, Thomas Halliday, has written a book which also talks about various sort of snapshots of life on Earth through time. And the name is currently escaping me. Give me 1 second because I'm embarrassed that I can't remember it. It's sat on my bookshelf. other lands, a world in the making. So that's quite a nice read. Michael Benton, who used to lecture at the University of Bristol, has just retired. He's got a couple of fabulous books, including one on the Permian mass extinction called When Life Nearly Died. And I think that's on the second or third edition now. And there are just more resources if you're looking about geology and rocks. There's an interesting one called, I think it's called The Dating Game, or A Dating Game, which is sort of how do you give the Earth an age, and how do you do aging of the Earth and the rocks, and some of the different methods that people used, and even how Darwin tried to give the age of at least one of the vales near him, like one of the bits of countryside near him, an age just based on erosion rates of a river, which probably wasn't hugely off, but at the time was widely derided as just horribly wrong because no one knows. Under a metal sky, yeah. There are, as I said, there's such a diversity, depending on exactly where your interests of fossils, rocks, life in general on the planet. Highly recommend people explore them, because I would not do it justice. So yeah. And I'd say there's quite a few on the Cambrian explosion, which is sort of the origins of complex visible life. And some of those are very good reads. Some of them less so, but there are some very good ones. And you can normally tell based on their ratings which ones are likely to work for you. So yeah. If people are after any in particular or have read about something and want my advice, feel free to chuck names of books in chat and I'll say if I know anything about them as well. But yeah, we just brutally removed all the rock on this thing down to center. Most of the shell has gone, not super surprising for a heavily worn ammonite. They tend to lose all of the shell near the visible surface, especially if you do it with the chisel tip at speed. And aren't gluing it down, and even then, as we've seen with a lot of the other preps, they go pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm going to spend a little bit of time and remove the middle and see if we can make a second Hildy look at least acceptable. Oh, I'll also say for Chunkle Vortex's sake, he was asking about Petoskey stones. There's a couple of very good YouTubers who do a lot of Michigan-related fossils. I think the best one is probably Michigan Rocks, at least for consistency. And he does a wide range of geology and fossil-based stuff in Michigan, around the Great Lakes and beyond. And he does do a lot of stuff with Petoskey's, as well as also showing how they polish them up and make them look even better. Because they look great naturally tumbled, they look great straight out the water, but when they dry out they don't always look quite as amazing. But when you get a good polish, like an actual real fine polish on them, or tumble them or do whatever else, you can make them look even more spectacular. And I have to say there are some magic looking hexagenaria coral ones, which is what Petoskey's are. It's a coral species. I do love the ongoing charm of kids looking in their gravel being such a universal thing. But equally, it's not far off the story of one of the first dinosaurs being found as well. I mean, I don't know if everyone knows the story of Iguanodon being found, but it was road construction, and I want to say Marianne Mantell. I might be wrong with her first name, but one of the Mrs. Mantell was walking along the road, and she picked up some unusual looking rocks and took them to her husband Gideon Mantell, and said, "Look at these," and he identified them as teeth, but they were basically giant teeth that he couldn't figure out what they belonged to, and eventually found something that looked like iguana teeth, but obviously much bigger than modern iguanas, and so called his new undescribed find, and I say his new find, his wife's new find, but his find, as it ended up being, Iguanodon, which basically just means iguana tooth. And yeah, so that was the naming of one of the first dinosaurs, and it was just walking along a road picking up rocks, and yeah, that's how you find a dinosaur, or used to find a dinosaur. And there's a lovely charm that's still the way that we all do it, and how we all find them on the beach as well. Walk along and pick up rocks. But obviously, yeah, have a read of I'm gonna let Mr. Landfill do his Googling. He can always chuck in a nice link to that story, because it's a fantastic story about it, and then you end up with the fascination that it ends up being, and the origin of Victorian paleontology, and the drawings and interpretations of the first fossils. And obviously, because the teeth look like an iguana, therefore the animal looked like a massive scaled up iguana, and then you end up with the Crystal Palace dinosaurs, and people having dinner inside of a model iguanodon, and then you get the discovery of the Bernissart iguanodons in Belgium, and there's in one of the, I want to say the coal mines, but in one of their mines they then found whole complete ones, and all of their interpretations of where horns were on their noses no longer went on noses, they went on thumbs, and the animals that they assumed to be giant iguana-like creatures look nothing like iguanas. They look like a completely different thing altogether. Yeah, it is incredible, and it's one of those things that is always amazing, is how science updates with new information, and paleontology in particular is fabulous for it, because we are working with, say this is all I found of this species of ammonite. You'd never know how big it gets, you'd never know what it looked like, the animal inside it, but as you find more, you know the range of them, you know the size of them, you know where they live within the world, you can then correlate rock layers, you can then compare them to living creatures, and you start to understand what else they might look like in terms of modern species and what might live inside. Yeah, it's an incredible thing, and there's been some brilliant scientists who we owe an awful lot to our understanding of the ancient world with their comparative anatomy, and then we have been able to build upon it, and I live in hope that some of the stuff that I'm finding might one day be a small part of that. And now you all get the history compliments of Mr. Landfill. Enjoy. I mean, that's part of the story. The joy of the origin of paleontology is it owes an awful lot to a lot of people. Richard Owen is the forefather of Dinosauria, as you've just explained there. He's the one who gives name to the group. based on Iguanodon, Megalosaurus, and I want to say Thescelosaurus, but I might be wrong with the naming. It's one of the other early ones found. And he is the man who was the comparative anatomist at what was the British Museum before the Natural History Museum existed, and is the one who led to the founding of the Natural History Museum in London and all of its collections there as a separate entity from the British Museum as we know it today. Has many issues. He had major disagreements with Charles Darwin and evolution because of his religious beliefs. But again, none of them got it perfectly right, and all of them we owe an awful lot to for their like the basis of paleontology comes from an awful lot of people a long time ago, working with a lot less complete information than we have now. But yeah, Marianne Mantell is the Iguanodon lady walking through the rocks, and her husband Gideon Mantell. Only mods. Shame. Well, you can all do your linking. Shirley's given you the naming and the dates, so you can all work with that. And then Gideon is Gideon, and so you can again read up about the two of them and their information and how that gets passed on with the naming of Iguanodon. And as I said, the Crystal Palace dinosaurs are a fabulous thing in their own right to explore. And they still are in Crystal Palace, in one of the big parks in central London. And they're still looking sufficiently wonky and weird. And there's very famous early paleo art that they also derive some of their recreations from. There's a French artist whose name is running away from me, but he's the one who did sort of the painting of Lyme Regis and its marine reptiles and pterosaurs and fish. And again, some of those creatures end up in Crystal Palace as sort of the understanding of what those fossil creatures look like based on what they had found at that point, and fun to compare what we know today. And if you guys want to look up, I think it's Delabeche might be the name. I'm trying to remember. It's the very famous. Yes, Henry Delabeche, and his artwork Duria Antiquaire is like the first fossil paleo art, and some of the interpretations of pterosaurs and pliosaurs and plesiosaurs ends up being some of the stuff that also makes it into the Crystal Palace stuff with those dinosaurs. Yeah, there's all. It's an amazing thing to go back and play the history of paleontology, and not just the paleontology as well. And I can say without going any further, this middle is blown to pieces, unfortunately. It's not pretty, the prep I have done, but it basically starts falling apart here, and so I went down to the next whirl to check whether it was any better, and there's a bit of it here, but there's missing some width to it, and so I am pretty happy to say that that middle is gone. Probably why it didn't want to pop easily is just because there's nothing to pop for. So yeah, shame, but that's how it goes. Best pint glass etch with just Jurassic. Yeah, there's some fabulous artwork, and if you can find your beverage glass receptacle of choice with it, even better. As I have to admit that I've got a glass from the Whitbury Brewery, which I think is, they cut down their bottles to make them, and it's got an ammonite on the bottom, and I quite like that one. You also did quite well, Shirley, with the old dump as well, didn't you? I know it sounds like an odd thing to say, but there's a Victorian age, or in fact possibly older, dump at Lyme Regis that's eroding out of the cliff falls and onto the beach, and there's various things that come out of that that are interesting, not dissimilar to the people who go bottle hunting or whatever else. Tickles their fancy, buttons and war memorabilia, etc. But yeah. Right, let's have a look at maybe one more thing. And it's sat here looking at me, so I'm going to do this one. But I need to just quickly change the tip. Yeah, this is definitely going to be the last one I attempt today. It's stupidly hot in the shed at the minute, especially with the extraction on. Feeling very warm, but yeah, it's a bit of a messy one. This is not me hitting shell, even though it does look like it. There's a calcite veins running through there. It runs sort of basically a plane across the whole thing. Possibly linked to the fact there's either a pathology or a break right here, and so you might just about see that there's a kind of an odd dip at that point there, going from that height, drops down. So I don't know if that's a pathology or a break until we've prepped the whole thing, but we'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, I was gonna say, Tranquil, it's warm by pretty much everyone's reasonable standards, and for places that aren't used to the heat, it is very toasty, especially for June, which is, I mean, the start of summer officially, but it still shouldn't be more than 30-ish. But yeah, London and the south, the east, is supposedly going to potentially creep up to 40, or close to 40. And when the British record is 40.3 or whatever it is, yeah, it's very warm. Yorkshire, thankfully, is a bit further north where I live, and it is a fair bit cooler up here, but it is still hot. And so yeah, we'll keep going for just a touch longer. I'm actually starting to be suspicious it may not have a middle. This calcite vein ruins a chunk of the ribbing over here. They may be okay underneath it, but we'll see as we go. But I'm starting to wonder if there may not be an next whirl. But we will keep an eye out. Oh, well, that's not where that whirl's supposed to be. So, whirl's coming along at the height here, just below the outermost swirl. And then there's a ferrule drop down into the next one here. That calcite vein, clearly an indication of something gone wrong either during fossilization or shortly before. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one trying to figure out where it is all going, because it's not where it's supposed to be. Ah, amazing. Imagine if I actually was doing this properly. Yeah, we have melted all of the adhesives off of the lights on the top of the box. So yeah, a good indicator of how warm it is. We might have to consider changing prep times on days where it's going to be over 30 in Yorkshire, because clearly even the prep box lighting is not enjoying the heat. The sticky is not sticking anymore is a good descriptor of it. Yeah, the sticky is unstuck. And they're supposed to be like the sort of sticky that if you pull in the right direction, they unstick anyway. Tranquil, have a great day. So yeah, we'll just see what we can do with the lighting as it currently is, but yeah, we are winding down, I think. Anyway, so we will see what we can do in the interim. But yeah, if the lighting just randomly drops at some point, you'll understand why. I think it might just have to be called good enough there for the minute. It is not good, but it is good enough for the minute. Oop, give you some more light on it. Yeah, it's a bit scrappy. The calcite veins are making it tricky, and the fact it's dropped at such a different level on one section. But who knows? We'll come back to it at some point, but unsure when that will be. Probably Thursday, but it may not be a Thursday afternoon, which is when I would normally stream, because I think Thursday is still forecast to be pretty toasty. So it might be Thursday a bit earlier, but I've got a meeting. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Just basically keep an eye out for the stream notifications, which I guess is a good time just to remind people, if you're not subscribed and you're enjoying the content, just make sure you're subscribed, hit the bell on YouTube as well, and that ensures you get the notifications of when streams start up, and so you can always come along whatever time of day it is. Mr. Landfill saying about a Windows based AC unit, always possible as an option, but I'm not sure it will actually make that much difference because the shed's not particularly insulated, so it will produce some cool air briefly and then not make much difference. But yeah, we'll have to see. I'm hopeful, maybe naively, that we're not going to have too many days pushing 30 degrees or even higher in Yorkshire this year or ever, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes, especially with El Nino warming the planet again this year. Thanks for the compliments last year. It's not been fabulous prep. A couple of fun hildies. The Dremel block will be something I need to have a look at, and there's some more work on the deck doubles to do as well from last week. Plenty of stuff to get on with. So there's plenty of stuff for me to keep streaming for you, whatever day and times they happen to be. Hopefully there will be a couple more this week, but I'm going to turn off the prep box, turn on the lights in the shed, just to cool everything down a touch, because obviously I melted all the adhesives on the box. So yeah, you can see that I'm reflecting nicely. But yeah, cheers everyone for watching. Cheers for being here. For those of you in the UK or anywhere that's roasting hot at the minute, I hope you find something that's nice and cool to go do. I think a cider may well be calling me after this. So yeah, big thanks for watching. A standard reminder to check out website cutfossils.com if there's any interest in tours or seeing if you can come find your own fossil fish, ammonites, anything else. Make sure you're subscribed on the channel if you're not already, and yeah, check us out on social media. There's plenty of those options as well. You'll see a lot more pictures of things like fossil finds on my Instagram, which is andrewcuff_fossils, or the Facebook, which is just Cuff Fossils. Or actually, no, take it back. That's the Cuff Fossil Company on Facebook. So yeah, just have a look, keep an eye out for us, and yeah, we'll be back as soon as we can. And I'll catch you all soon. Thanks for watching.